Back in 2017, French developer Sloclap released its first game, Absolver, an action RPG with a heavy emphasis on grounded, physics-based melee combat. For its second project, Sloclap took those combat mechanics and refined them to near perfection, delivering the kung fu movie love letter Sifu in 2022. But 3 years later, Sloclap has taken a surprising turn, trading its single-player melee combat for intense multiplayer soccer action with the release of Rematch. Rematch is decidedly different from Sloclap's previous games. But experimentation can lead to greatness, and developers taking risks to follow their passion is something that should be admired. Unfortunately, though, Rematch isn't the MVP of Sloclap's team. Rematch is in a league of its own. Rematch opens up with a brief prologue that sees players take a character from kicking a ball in the street of their hometown to playing in the big leagues, all in a matter of minutes. There's a lot of charm in this succinct opening sequence, and even without a word being said, it's clear that Sloclap has a deep appreciation for the sport it's lovingly recreating. This prologue is also where players are first introduced to Rematch's core mechanics. Rematch's gameplay earns its name on the trophy. Simply put, Rematch's mechanics are the star of the show. Sloclap has taken the weighty physics and responsive animations of Sifu's combat and applied them to a sports game, and the results are thoroughly impressive. The real fun of Rematch comes from its physics-based ball, the trajectory of which is directly affected by each and every tap of the player character's foot. This leads to very active gameplay, where players need to make deliberate choices about where and how they're guiding the ball with their inputs. Do they want to tap the ball lightly to pass it through an opponent's legs, or lob it overhead, or dribble it around their oncoming attacker, or try to take a shot? A single game of Rematch is divided into thousands of these micro-decisions that occur every second, and while it can certainly take some time to get used to, this constant need for active decision-making and careful execution leads to some very rewarding gameplay that successfully captures the spirit of the sport it's adapting. That's especially true when Rematch's team play is added to the equation. Rematch features 3v3, 4v4, and 5v5 modes, and each one revolves around strategic teamwork. Each split-second decision has even more weight behind it when it affects the entire team. A player's positioning, pass timing, shot accuracy, and even their stamina management are all vital to the overall team's success. While that's a lot for players to wrap their head around, and the pressure can be daunting in an online lobby full of real players, it's balanced by the infinitely rewarding sense that players are gradually mastering these complex mechanics, and that their mastery is actively contributing to their team's victory. When Rematch is firing on all cylinders, there's truly no other sports game like it. Of course, playing as a team doesn't always lend itself to satisfying gameplay. If players are saddled with a team full of glory seekers who refuse to pass, it can make the otherwise brisk 10-minute match feel like an endless test of patience. It's also important to note that, aside from its prologue and practice modes, Rematch features no single-player modes. There's no way to set up a match between the player and AI opponents. Rematch's stellar mechanics are frequently aided by the game's decent presentation. Booting a ball at full force evokes a very satisfying thud noise, followed by the powerful sound of air being whipped around the ball as it flies towards its target. Brief flashes of golden light also accompany these mighty actions, reinforcing their importance. Music is sparse in Rematch, but it does its job well enough, and it ramps up nicely to highlight the intensity of a game's final moments. Sifu's stylized aesthetic carries over to Rematch. But while the pseudo-hand-drawn art style works very well in motion, it looks a little ugly when the game is at a standstill, such as in menus and loading screens. Character faces, in particular, can look simultaneously uncanny and lifeless. Rematch doesn't keep a clean sheet. Like the vast majority of modern multiplayer games, Rematch has a battle pass, and its whole progression system revolves around it. Over the course of a month or so, Rematch will offer 3 separate battle passes that unlock sequentially. Each one is packed with cosmetic rewards, a good portion of which are completely free. But Rematch's battle pass rewards aren't anything to write home about. Given the game's subject matter, players are mostly unlocking new shirts, shorts, boots, socks, and hairstyles for their character. And given that Rematch has a mostly grounded tone that's based in reality, these cosmetics all look rather dull. The most exciting rewards are new stadiums, which change the environment of a match and react when a goal is scored, but they're few and far between on the Battle Pass track. Rematch's Battle Pass also suffers from some poor presentation. Unlocking a new reward isn't met with the triumphant sound or visual effects that Fortnite and Marvel Rivals players are used to. Instead, players are simply met with a silent on-screen confirmation that they've unlocked a new pair of shorts, which never feels exciting. But Rematch's Battle Pass is just one part of the game's biggest issue, its longevity. Along with the 3 casual modes mentioned above, Rematch has one ranked 5v5 mode. Though the level of intensity in each mode does alter the experience a little, players are still going through the same core gameplay loop on repeat with very little variation. After just an hour or two, players will have seen everything Rematch has to offer, and those not immediately smitten with its mechanics might not see a reason to stick around. Rematch's technical performance certainly doesn't help either. During Rematch's 72-hour early access period, I experienced some severe latency issues. These latency problems usually affect the ball's position on the pitch, and naturally, that led to some significant gameplay issues. On several occasions, latency drastically impacted the results of a match, with players on the opposing team suddenly getting possession of the ball and scoring in the time it took for the servers to recalibrate the ball's position. My time with Rematch was also plagued by a litany of other, slightly less severe bugs. In one match, one of our goals counted as the opposing team's. Several matches saw the ball start on the wrong side of the pitch following a goal, and a common issue was not being able to move after joining a match in progress. Of course, it's still early days for Rematch, and the bulk of these technical issues might have already been fixed before this review goes live. But it's important to state that these technical problems did impact the experience. Rematch has the potential to be the next Rocket League with its engrossing mechanics, rewarding team play, and stylized aesthetic. But the game's performance issues and lackluster progression systems might stop it from living long enough to achieve that potential.